what we are finding is cyberbullying is becoming more and more prevalent.
On average, I get about 15 youth people walking into my office a week, but approximately 7 or 8 out of those 15 actually suffers with online bullying.
What modern research and experience has told us is all the usual prototypes that we had about bullying, they simply don't apply to cyberbullies.
A youth member of 15 years old came into the practice and said that she sees online bullying such as a model of A, B, C, D, E. And she sees A is the elite group, B, semi-elite, C, median, and anything below that you get bullied.
Cyberbullying is increasing because we are living in a world where just because we don't see the consequences of our actions, it's okay.
Cyberbullying is one particular form of bullying that is enabled, enhanced, or in some way mediated through digital technology. Digital technology can be a way for all kinds of bullying behaviour, including physical, verbal, social, and relational bullying. With social media becoming a primary form of communication, cyberbullying has become a huge issue.
A study that was conducted in Auckland, I think in 2015, and it's called Attitude and Values Study, that showed that around 10% of people who were interviewed had experienced bullying, whereas the bullying tended to be more in younger people, and there it went up to 34%, and it was even higher in young women. So in other words, we can almost see a trend emerging where young female, typically middle class girls or women are at a higher risk of becoming victims of bullying.
Nick, is cyberbullying as serious as we think?
Oh, absolutely. I've got some statistics if I could share that with you. 3 in 5 women in their late teens have been victims of online bullying. They've actually run a study in 35 countries amongst 9-year-olds and found that New Zealand's the second highest in online bullying statistic. And the highest suicide rates in the world are amongst our teenage boys between the ages of 10 and 24.
Email, cell phones, chat rooms, social networking sites, and instant messaging can all be used to bully others verbally, socially, or psychologically.
So there is greater access to technology. In fact, smartphones have almost become a substitute for computers, which means we carry technology with us wherever we want to. There is 24-hour access, so you can pick your victims, you can do whatever you want, when you want, and how you want. And it's that combination of ease of access with lack of restriction that makes it so easy to perpetrate. But also, very often we find that cyberbullying is increasing because we are living in a world where just because we don't see the consequences of our actions, it's okay.
So I guess we come to the next part then. How does bullying affect health and well-being in general?
So you get the current effects that it has, and you get the later life effects that it has. So currently it would put you in a state of shock. You will go and isolate yourself. You would probably not eat. You would have nightmares, headaches, excessive weight gain or sudden weight loss, stomach aches. And for those who's in later life, it can create mental health disorders such as depression or even borderline and bipolar later on in life.
As an expert, you can identify those signs and symptoms, but how could parents and teachers identify someone who's been bullied online?
So let's start with parents. If one of my children would just suddenly become quiet, they would sit in a corner, they'd constantly check their phone, they keep texting, and I would look at their body language and see, well, is that the sign of stress on their face? Is that an anxiety? Are they always constantly trying to text somebody back? Checking their devices, going into their rooms with closed door or sitting in bed all day. There's reasons behind that. It's for us as parents to go and ask them, is there something you'd like to talk about? Is somebody making you feel uncomfortable about something? And if you don't want to talk to me, can I ask if you would like to go talk to somebody neutral, like a guidance counsellor at school, or I can arrange that for you. And for teachers, lack of school performance, concentration levels, children who would sit on the rugby field not talking to others, children who would not eat their food, children who would have no friends or even just walk around by themselves. Those are the children we need to look at.
So let's turn to the cyberbully themselves. How do you identify a cyberbully? And are there different kinds of cyberbullies that exist?
What we are finding with cyberbullying is that they come from all walks of life, all classes of society, both genders, and all kinds of educational achievements. So it is very difficult to identify what kind of person will turn into a cyberbully. But there are some common trends that we find. For example, very often these will be people who will have very anti-authority attitude. They will have very low empathy. They will not be emotionally intelligent. They will have a very strong sense of self-entitlement. And these will be people who will feel it's okay for them to go and hurt someone just because they want to hurt someone and not worry about consequences.
There is now a law which protects you from cyberbullying. The Harmful Digital Communications Act became law on the 3rd of July 2015. Then what does the Harmful Digital Communications Act cover?
Okay, well, it covers the ability to remove material and get a restraining order against the person for posting it, apology, a right of reply or something like that. Process, of course, starts with coming to NetSafe and seeing if they can resolve the matter, and if they can't, then the matter must go to court. That's remedial. You don't get damages or anything like that, but it at least takes some of the sting out of the publication or the material that's online.
The Act aims to deter, prevent, and lessen harmful digital communications.
It uses harm, which means serious emotional distress. So any behaviour that occurs online where there's been an electronic communication that causes serious emotional distress or alternatively breaches one of 10 communications principles can fall within the ambit of the Act.
Digital communication is defined widely in the Act to include any form of electronic message, such as text, photos, pictures, or recordings.
Is that it deals with electronic communications, and that's very, very wide. It can include SMS text messaging. It can include, in fact, a telephone call on a mobile phone, because that's an electronic communication.
This includes cyberbullying, harassment, and revenge porn posted online through emails, text, website, applications, or social media. Harmful digital communication and cyberbullying includes sending or publishing threatening or offensive material, spreading damaging rumours, sending or publishing sensitive personal information such as embarrassing photos and videos.
Now, we think about bullying as being repetitive, abusive, continuing behaviour, and that, of course, is caught. So the Act does have that application. but it can occur to one-off incidents as well, which can be just as harmful and as hurtful. So it isn't as though we've got a law that says cyberbullying is illegal, but the behaviour that constitutes cyberbullying can, if it has consequences, be dealt with through the courts.
The test for determining what is harmful digital communication is whether the communication was designed to cause serious emotional distress.
For a criminal offence, there's got to be an intention to cause serious emotional distress. There's got to be serious emotional distress within a sort of reasonable framework, judged objectively, and then there actually has to be serious emotional distress caused. Those three elements give us an offence. If you fulfil those three criteria, you've committed an offence. So you can be punished up to 2 years imprisonment, and there have been sentences imposed of up to 1 year's imprisonment for some particularly bad cases of what would amount to cyberbullying.
After noticing the growing influence of technology in their respective areas, the New Zealand Police and Ministry of Education created an independent body focused on online safety, called NetSafe. NetSafe was founded in 1998 to help New Zealand internet users stay safe online. When you are cyberbullied, your first instinct is to pick up the phone and call the police. However, the police are not the subject matter experts in this field, and they rely on resources available through NetSafe. You may notice that they will refer you to NetSafe or to your lawyer. If there are concerns about your safety, you can contact the local police station immediately. Otherwise, you can contact NetSafe directly. NetSafe will discuss your situation, contact the offender, and try to reach a resolution to get the harmful content removed.
Yeah, NetSafe's job is to try to help you get a resolution without having to go to court, basically. And so what we'll do is we'll do whatever we can to get you that resolution, which means talking to the industry partners, it means talking to the other parties to a dispute, it means just looking at your options with you and then trying to enact those. The main thing is people often who have been got to the point where they're being harmed by something online are embarrassed about some aspect of it. I guarantee that the team, is happy to deal with all of those things. You won't be judged for whatever's happened that brought you to us. Our job is simply to find you a resolution. So, you should call us with confidence.
In New Zealand, under the Harmful Digital Communications Act, publishing a false statement about someone with the intent of damaging their reputation is called defamation. Defamation can be proven if you can be identified as the person the statements were about, the statements were defamatory, the statements were communicated to one or more other people, or the statements were published via news article, book, online social media, emailing, or talking to people. To protect yourself from the impact of cyberbullying, don't reply. Don't attack the person back. Block them from contacting you. Talk to someone about it. Have a conversation with them in writing and inform them about the impact of their behaviour and your rights under the Harmful Digital Communications Act. Save messages and images as evidence, such as screenshots. You can contact NetSafe toll-free 7 days a week on 0508 NetSafe or by visiting netsafe.org.nz. Remember, sending some types of harmful digital communications is now illegal in New Zealand, and you are protected.